Oh, Jesus Christ, chat. I didn't even get everything done that I wanted to do. Despair. This is what happens when you last minute discover something that you completely oversaw. Thanks, stream elements, for not being on top. If you're wondering what the fuck I was doing, I completely forgot that Canva allows you to have in presentation notes that you guys can't see but I can. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna wing telling you guys about all the things I'm recommending. And then I was like, maybe you want more details. So I've just been adding like presentation notes. And I got like a good way through, so probably won't use all of it, but I got over perfectionist with my approach here. Hello, hi everyone! Sorry I'm late, yum. Yeah, it happens, guys. This is what happens when you're ill and also you low-key are just a bit of a mess. Classic. I promise! Okay, next time I know it already and I won't do it while doing the rest of the presentation. Because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna add some transitions. It's gonna be fine. It's not gonna take that long. It's gonna take like 10 minutes to add the transition between the slides. And then I discovered this whole feature. And I was like, oh, I really should have done this way earlier because it would have been way better. But like, I did a bit, okay? And I'm very, very excited. I finally got that one achievement at the beginning as always. I've been grinding for like hours, yippee. Congrats. Congrats, guys. Congrats, James. Congrats, everyone. And literal days. Holy shit, that is intense. I'm so happy for you, King. Let me very briefly yoink this over here. So this should be fine, probably. Okay. As far as I know, this works. Question mark. We're gonna prage, okay? We're gonna prage. This is kind of a sophisticated setup. It's a little bit much, but we're trying our best, alright? There we go! None of the walkthroughs were 100% correct, and then we all said update had changed in SMHing. SMHing. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in again. Sorry for the slightly late start. There you go. This should work. Prage. Because I've got kind of like a setup where you guys are actually seeing something different than what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the presenter window, where you guys are seeing the presentation view window. Because I only have one monitor, right? So my ass is kind of doing this weirdly. But yeah, look at the theme, chat! It looks so pretty! Holy moly, it's Yellow Yaks. Yellow Yaks, yes. The Yellow Yaks, the MCC team, they're here. Thank you for the cameo. No, Yellow Kex. Is that gay sex? But yeah, welcome to the Yellow Rex stream. It's got Zoom presentation core. People giggles. Yeah, know what? You don't know Gex? Do I not know it? Am I out of the loop? Am I old now? But yeah, I'm still a little bit ill. So that's kind of been a bit... No, it's old as fuck. I guess I just don't know it. Or maybe I just am blanking on it, cause I've been pretty like curing my illness. Fever's gone away. Howdy, it's been a sec. Hi, May. Welcome into the presentation stream. Lovely to see you. We did one of these a while ago. Very, very lovely. Also, any new chatters who are here for the stream and haven't heard yet, we're doing a subathon next Friday, 4 PM BST start time, 4 hours on the clock, some very fun sub goals. Mark your calendars. Get yourselves excited. Yump, I can't wait. I also can't wait. Look at these very fun little follow goals. We've got some games that you guys have been asking me, hounding me to play, like Portal and Undertale Yellow, and also some fun little like just chatting streams. Ori and the Blind Forest is there. There's more goals. There's another shopping stream. So do mark your calendars. If there's a game, then I know it. Truing. So that's kind of been the priority, obviously. So I want to get better before that subathon is. and also before my birthday is tomorrow. So, and then I made the incredible decision, like, yesterday night, to start watching this one show that I've been meaning to watch for a long time, Dead Boy Detectives. And I binge-watched the entire show, and I got absolutely obsessed with it. It's an incredible show, by the way. Do watch it. It's my first 10 out of 10 in such a long time. It's gay, it's camp, it's, like, insane, there's cats, okay, I swear to you, it's so fucking good. 10 out of 10 despair. I really loved it. Like, I'm a kind of, I have, like, particular tastes. I'm on the YouTube grind set. It's a 10 out of 10. No, it's bad. No. It's, like, such a good show. Really lovely. Watch it. I really wanted to get a second season, okay, guys? But that's a side note. So I watched that, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of rest a bit. And then the time came to do, like, the last-minute stuff for this stream. And, we're here now. So if you don't know what the fuck this stream is, it's basically I had a little Google form for everyone in which you guys could ask for recommendations. As you can see, it was books, TV shows, movies, and the video games. And you fill out like the little quest, and I made personalized recommendations for everyone who filled out the quest. So let's see if this works. Haha! Because I found out as well that you can make your phone a magic remote for Canva presentations. Goat level. So I've got my phone as my remote right now, and it's working. So this is the little agenda here with some, this is the theme I went for, purple and yellow, you know, my colors. And we're gonna have some fun video recommendation. Everyone who sent a requested is getting a selection of answer. Is it gay? Mm-hmm. The agenda, I mean. Mm-hmm. I mean, you tell me, okay? You tell me. So, everyone's getting not just one request, but as many as I could find. Typically somewhere between 3 to 4 or 5. Eat the laser pointer on top of it. That'd be funny, wait. Alright. Wait, I should actually do the little timer. And I did ask someone to test my document for Rex is ready noted. Yeah, pull out your notes. I'm sure some of the recommendations will be interesting to you even if you weren't the person requesting them. Because I noticed some trends, guys. I noticed some trends. So first up, we have the beta, who very kindly tested the new form. I reused the same form as I've done before, but I added some little elements and some changes. Wait, what? Yes, I did use your fun request. So this is the little layout for video games. So Nab put in a request for a puzzle casual game with the note, I don't know, dark fantasy or something, I don't know. Let's put it as a testing thing, but sure, sorry. I thought it was a good request. If you had literally just filled out like with no coherence, I would have not considered it, but because it was. And it gave me that excuse to add a little like themed page for you, so now you guys excited. So a casual puzzle game, but with that dark fantasy theming. Alright, let's see if this all works. Boom. There we go. Caught. Sorry, I love puzzle games. This is what I found first up. I basically went with games and some recommendations first if I have myself played them or myself have them on my radar, and then there's other ones if I go beyond it. Sorry, I forgot what I submitted. It'll pop up. So we have a game called Pinstripe. I have this in my library. I haven't played it yet. This is a side-scroller. It's about a minister going to hell to search his kidnapped daughter. So that's kind of the dark theme. The fantasy theme is kind of like, you know, hell existing looking out. And I thought it would be like a cool game to play. Monka, the dark fantasy is real. It looks really pretty, has a very cute little art style. The vibes were strong, okay? The vibes were strong. Next up, we have a game called Eye of Nolan, or Nolan, which is a detective game where you bribe people for puzzle hints. So it's all about trying to solve puzzles basically in any way you can, ethical or unethical. It is currently having a free demo as well, so if you do want to try out, most of these games have been published already. Some are demos only, but I will tell you if you can try out the game for free, of course, if I know it or if it's in my notes. So if you do want to try out Eye of Nolan, I have it in my demos to test out. So not sure if like how good it is because I haven't played these games, but it looked very interesting. There we go. Then we have a game that's not actually out yet called Reverse: The Eternal Fire. Another platformer. Don't know why my puzzle platformers are just really big at the moment. And this is a kind of perspective bending game that uses rotation and flips to fuck with the logic of 2D games. Monkazoinks. So here you can like literally flip the entire game in different directions to solve the puzzles and navigate the game. Isn't out yet, only has a demo out, but looked really fucking interesting. These are Nabita's recommendations. I hope you like them. That's sick as fuck. Yeah, I thought these all looked like super interesting, unique, and had like a bit of a darker theme overall. But also, why is it Chinese? Monka? Yeah, I think this game is Chinese. But yeah, as mentioned, I will tell you guys if I've consumed, engaged with the media personally, or like if I've reviewed it before on the channel, anything like that, if it's a game, or if I have watched or read it. But for a lot of this is obviously based on what you guys were looking for, which might have not be what I personally have already checked out. But I'm interested. Reddit. No, I looked through like my wish lists on Steam, or my watch list on my movie tracking app, that kind of stuff. Like first, if I already had something, the helping hand that is Reddit. If I already had something that kind of fit the profile, like because I want everyone to have a little handful of recommendations. No, you said it and I was like Reddit. Oh my god, ain't no way. All right, are we ready? Next up, we have Tobias Tabiexi. I don't think is here right now. I can see if I can dink donk him really quickly. You could like try and ping him as well. I don't know if he's online. Dink donk, your rec is up. Strem. There we go. This is just being a menace. If we'll wait for like a second, but Toby very characteristically asked for a live-action movie that's up to 90 minutes with romance, but did add that it didn't matter if he wanted like live-action or animation because he doesn't have no preferences. So yep, classic dyslexia striking again. Which is great. This is why I added the note function, because in the old form we only had like the duality, like the binary choice of, oh, it's either animated or it's live action, but it didn't really allow for people to have like both options if they wanted to, so that's what the notes were for. And like people really used the notes, so I'm very glad that was an addition I made, since I feel like I got way better at giving you guys recommendations if you were able to add that little extra note. The reply is 6,000 exclamation marks, so maybe he will pop by in a second. Haps, yeah, the notes thing was super good. Yeah, L suggested that, so shout out to L. But yeah, so for Toby I was spamming the notes. Oopsie. For Toby I added the like wet cat in the corner. Because it's just, it just embodies him. I still like miss the cat tuber. Mine may have just been :3, don't remember. I think you did add a note. Broke is called L, but only gets W. Truly a tragic world. It happens, man. It's just a simple, it's just a little cat, very pog. Yeah, so I've added for everyone like a little one or two little icons that kind of embody you. Unless he doesn't have time. Okay, he can't check by right now. So we'll go on, but he will check the VOD. I saw. So for him, because I now had the option to also include animation, my first recommendation is immediately an animated movie that I have seen, called 5 centimeters per second. This is a really beautiful movie. Classic. One of the few anime movies that I own, even. Friends to Lovers manga fanfic. It's a really gorgeous movie. It's about little vignettes about this guy's life and his relationship with one of his friends, and it's kind of a bit like a romance narrative. I thought was the name of the movie. No, the movie's name is not Friends to Lovers. That's the theme. I thought 63 minutes was the name. No, I did put like the time at the top and like a theme or central element at the bottom, because like the title of the movie is on the poster. It's a bit small, but that's why I'm reading out. 63 minutes is my favorite minutes. It happens. But yeah, this is a really gorgeous movie. It's a little bit sad, but also really about moving through life and facing adulthood. But facing adulthood, because it's all about these like childhood friends and then like growing up and facing life in different circumstances. Gorgeous. Me and my mum really like this movie. Next up, I chose a really short movie. This is only like 15 minutes, called The Windshield Wiper, which is another like vignette short stories type movie, all about the question, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. No. But I was like, oh, this looks very fun, very interesting. It's also, if I remember correctly, animated. So kind of a little bit of a little taste. Hello, hi Wisp! Oh, love me a movie where I watch a windshield wipe a windshield for 15 minutes. It happens. It happens. I've been awake for a very long time. Rip. I will BRB, message me when mine comes up. I will. Next up we have I Am Jonas from 2018, which I feel like is the perfect movie to recommend to Toby, because it's not only gay, it's also French. And it's all about this guy Jonas who meets a charismatic other guy and has kind of like a sexuality exploration. And then later, he looks back at this teenage, loves in French, he looks back at this teenage romance, love, and kind of tries to figure out what this means to him, how this affects him in life. Looks really interesting. And then finally we have the incredible Jesse James. This is another Netflix movie. Netflix is just pumping them out, I guess. This is all about a playwright who is very much like on the career-wise, having a lot of successes, but really struggling in the romance department. And then she ends up making an unlikely connection, apparently, with a divorced app designer that she meets on a blind date. And I love the tagline is, likes are easy, love is hard. And I'm just like, this sounds fucking funny. Is he gay or European? So true. So these are kind of, I feel like, I Am Jonas sounds like it might also be tackling some heavier themes, similar to 5 Centimeters of Summer. I don't know The Windshield Wiper, but the incredible Jessica James is just kind of fun, like energetic, a little bit serious as well. Gay European, yes, like me, you know. It happens, man, it happens. So, kind of a breaking up those movies that also have a bit of a heavier subplot. But this movie also does have, like, her having had a bad breakup prior to this dating era. Yeah, so these are Toby's choices. Next up we have Robbie, so I should ping Robbie. Can we get some ding-dongs for Robbie? There you go. Your turn. Boom. Ding-donking. Wake up. Just the spamming. I don't remember the order of everything, so that's why I didn't really know when it's Robbie's turn, to be honest. Misspelling TikTok. I can see if I can briefly... I forgot, I caught... Yeah, it happens. This is not peak life. Gex the game! PlayStation 1 games are too old for me, Nab. What do you think? I'm not that old. What the fuck? I just saw what you said. Also, I didn't have a PlayStation. I was a Nintendo kid. I only had a Wii. I think by like the earliest console that was around when I was a bebe was like the PlayStation 2, maybe. That was alright. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I do have Robbie on. Actually, that's based. I have heard of it. The Nintendo Wii. People, wow. It happens, man. It happens. I'm gonna see if I can pull up. I'm pretty sure Robbie's in Discord, isn't he? We see. The Nintendo Wii, yeah, it's French. They made it French, Monka. It's truly something. There you go. Messaged him. No, Kirby only eats linguine. Wait, that's Italian! Ain't no way! What even are French noodles, though? To be honest. But yeah, Robbie's request was... Ghostless is that Italian. Is Ghost Italian? I didn't even know. But Robbie asked for a video game, action, adventure, strategy, and the theme of sandbox games with no note. That's why it just says ignore in the corner. He's the local Italian guy, fair enough. And obviously, whenever it's Robbie's requests, I add like a mouse because of the click part of his username. I was like, I'm clicking, you know. It makes sense. So it was actually kind of interesting because he wanted a sandbox game, but not a simulation game. And obviously, a lot of sandbox games are simulation games, like obviously Minecraft or. And like, I don't fucking know, man. Lots of games have like a sandbox element where you can design like your own level, your own world, or whatever. But trying to find games that weren't... Minecraft isn't really a simulation game. Technically, no, it's more like an adventure game. But you know what I mean? Like, games that at least have as a sub-genre simulation. Like a main sub-genre. I'd say Minecraft is an adventure simulation game. Alright, so like some of these might have simulation as like a sub-genre, but at the end of the day... Yeah, this is a bit awkward timing. I really should have remembered when Robbie's turn is. Because it was like right immediately, it was like the third person, so... People sit, I guess. But yeah, oh my gosh, that... If I may take the extra time... Rip, yeah, I'm just waiting. If I may take the extra time to gush a bit more about Dead Boy Detectives, because oh my god, it's so good. People said they can watch the one. We can wait like a minute or two. Especially because I do want to yap, because oh my god, it's so good. It's actually so fucking good. It's like, okay guys, without taking too much of the plot, it's like if someone took Good Omens and mixed it with Supernatural, but take out all the queerphobia and all the sexism. Just picture it, okay? Just picture it. It's so fucking good, it's actually ridiculous. It's so gay too, there's... Just everyone's gay basically, it's amazing. And it's got the angst, it's got the drama. Wait, does Good Omens have... No, Supernatural! Supernatural! It's a show where they aren't they gay. No, I should have phrased that better. It has the like... supernatural entities and like the big grand world, and also heaven and hell and stuff like Good Omens, and also incidentally like Supernatural, the whole heaven and hell and supernatural creatures. And in Supernatural it has a case element of them like solving cases in Dead Boy Detective, but it doesn't have the same like kind of inconsistencies / shit that Supernatural sometimes does. I say this as someone who likes Supernatural and has like 10 seasons on DVD, like that's said with affection. But yeah, it's so damn good, and oh my god, I thought, okay, right, this is me like so going, but the basic premise is it's about two ghosts called Edwin and Charles, and they've been dead for a long time, but they kind of didn't end up conforming to the system and instead decided to be detectives solving ghost cases to help ghosts move on. And we have Charles, who died in the like 80s and is kind of a bit of a scrappy guy, and then we have Edwin, who died in the early 20th century, like in the 1910s. So, and he's kind of he's like a very nerdy, very particular guy, and I really thought, right, just based on my track record of having kind of a thing for like 80s, 90s dead guys. That sounds so wrong, but you know, you guys know I love the show School Spirits, which also has a guy who dies, in this case in the 90s, who's a ghost boy, and he's also cute. So this is the parallel. We're talking about fictional ghosts, we're not talking... No! We're talking about fictional ghost characters that are cute guys, okay? So I very much thought when I looked... I'm back, hi Robbie. I'm yapping for a second and then we're gonna do your request. Good to see you. That I really thought, looking at the promo, okay, it's a ghost, you're a ghost too, Clueless. I mean, it just makes sense. But I really thought from the promo pictures, I would be very drawn to have Charles as my favorite character. But he is really a lovely character, but I'm so just obsessed with Edwin because he's like, this is a mild spoiler, but he actually escaped hell. He was like in hell for 70 years. Low-key, and then he goes back, so he's just like such an angsty character, but like so good, and he's like, my brain. It's very good. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but watch it. I've had so many people, when this show came out, they were like, I don't want to watch the show because, like, what if Netflix cancels? I'm like, bitch, it's gonna get cancelled if you don't watch it, you know what I mean? I'm like, please give me a second show of this, second season of the show, because it's so fucking good. But yeah, mildly obsessed with that. But let's get, wait, what show? Is that word? I'm stupid. Dead Boy Detectives Agency on Netflix. It's really fucking good. It's, I was actually surprised. Right, because people were like comparing it to Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. And the theming is similar, of like supernatural detectives, it's a duo. But Dead Boy Detective Agency is like 1,000 times better, and 1,000 times queerer, and 1,000 times more devastating. Like, the comparison should just, it's like saying Heartstopper and Young Royals is the same. It's like, oh, there's some similarities, so we're gonna 100% compare. I'm sorry, like, Dirk Gently and me, we low-key didn't get along. Especially the second season was a whole ass mess. And I thought, because people had been talking about the gay detective show, that Dirk Gently was the gay detective show. Because, to be fair, he looks very flamboyant, the actor who plays Dirk. And he is a very flamboyant character, but he's not canonically gay. He's never canonically gay in the entire show. There's 0 gay characters in that show. And in Dead Boy Detectives Agency, like, every motherfucker's fucking queer. There's lesbians, there's gay people, there's bisexuals, there's fucking magical cats. I haven't watched it. I need the second season. Wow, like, it's incredible. Highly recommend. And it's, like, not that scary, I'd say. If you like Good Omens, watch this show, okay? Because holy shit. Also, if you are a Supernatural enjoyer, it does have Rowena from Supernatural as one of the main, like, antagonists in the show, and it's so fucking good. I really just completely forgot how much she slays as like an evil witch / entity kind of creature in Supernatural. And then now she has a different role in Dead Boy Detectives. So wonderful. Please, please, please check it out. I really regret that I didn't get into it earlier, to be honest. But yeah. enough yapping about me and my new TV show obsession, so let's get to Robbie's recommendations. And first up, I found Land Above, Sea Below, which is a building strategy puzzle game about building your island. It's a tile-based game, and it's all about trying to avoid getting flooded. It does have a free demo, which is a prologue, so if you want to check out the game, if you want to try out the game, you can for free. I have it on my demo list to be played in the future, and it has that element of like building up your world and also with that strategic element. Looks cute as well. So Land Above, Sea Below is our first entry. Second, we have a game called Solar Ash, which is a platformer game with apparently a lot of high speed and gravity bending, set in a dreamscape world. I think you can make your own levels in this, which is the sandbox element. I'm not 100% sure. Kind of just looked very cool, very fast-paced, futuristic style. But this is not a game I have personally played or personally like played the demo or engaged with. So yeah, but it was tagged with Sandbox on Steam, so that's kind of what I base it off of. And then finally for Robbie, this is a game called Pacific Drive, which is a driving game. It's a driving survival adventure game about having to scavenge resources and taking care of your own car and making sure you're staying alive. It's currently on sale as well. So I think the world is kind of sandboxy in nature. Yeah, so these are games for Robbie: Land Above, Sea Below, Solar Ash, and Pacific Drive. I hope these recommendations suit you and you find something there that you like to play. And I was also trying to kind of get recommendations for everyone that are kind of accessible, so some that are free or relatively affordable, and not just give you like all recommendations are like super expensive. Yump, Solar Ash seems cool. Yeah, it looked really like, I don't know, it kind of a platformer is also fun. It had like the vibes of, what's that, the term for like people who go, it's not urban platforming, it's like, what's it called, where you go around climbing and running and stuff in abandoned city elements, or like in the city in general. I don't remember the term, but it looked very much like that, where like someone's like running around rooftops. Freestyling, yes! It had freestyling energy of like jumping around rooftops and like that navigation. Thank you, Navita. But I don't know. Navita coming in clutch with the knowledge. Alright. Next up, we have Firefly, Ding Dong. Noted. Yeah, hopefully I need V to play the Unwired Fire. No way, can we get some Ding Dongs for Firefly? I don't know if they're here. I'll drop a full name, Ding Dong King. If they're around, we can wait. But they did request a finished animated show with 11 to 60 plus minute episodes, 1 to 5 seasons, LGBT. They're in top stream. Awkward. RIP. I know the priorities. I know I'm not more important. Terrible. I'm kidding. There's always the VOD for this stream. And they did say, I love anime and put LGBTQIA+ as my thing, but would love any anime/animation recommendations if you have any. Hope stream is epic, lovers. So this was very interesting because I've mentioned before, I'm not the most prolific anime viewer, so Wokage Fire! Boss, we're doing your request right now. Yump. I'm here, Cyrus Mega clocked out. No worries, yo! It's your request. So I was just saying that I'm not an anime expert, and I don't watch that much on the regular basis, so this was very much an interesting opportunity to do some research. Told you I could get them. Classic. And I gave you the little hypers emote because I feel like for the jammers, I kind of all associate peepos with you guys. So this is the vibe. I'm good. Sleeper was about to log off, but I'm glad you were able to stop by. Hyper, yeah, like this is the vibes. So I added that. So my first find. Again, if there's anything that I recommend to you, or in general I'm recommending, and you're like familiar with it, do talk about it. The pig in chat made me So my first recommendation is a show called Sasaki and Miyano, or Mayano. It's also a manga, but it's also a TV show, which is about two high school students. Miyano, who is a BL manga fan. I love that one. It's so good. Okay, I'm hitting the right tone. If you're liking this one, this is great. And then the other guy is kind of like a bit of a bad boy, a little bit older, a bit edgy, and they kind of encounter each other. I've seen that one. Lovers, yes. Almost every anime was a manga first. But yeah, I'm just mentioning in case anyone, for example, is like, oh, the story sounds interesting, but I don't really watch TV shows, I don't really watch anime, so maybe they would check out the manga, so I do want to mention. And I think there's also a movie, maybe, but yeah. Looked cute, I would watch this, because I'm kind of also drawn sometimes to these like shorter TV shows where it's very manageable to watch. My next suggestion is Given, just a music gay anime about a guy who's about to kind of give it all up, then he meets this other guy that's taking guitar lessons from him, and there's kind of a quest to make a band together. I love a good music anime. I really liked Your Lie in April, one of the few anime I've actually fully watched. And this one looked fun. It's like a boy band, kind of, and apparently the guitar teacher has like a crazy beautiful voice and is trying to get our main guy, Ritsuka is the name, to join the band and just kind of be creative collaborators. King, I just finished Your Lie in April 2 years ago. It is such a good anime. It's also very sad. The piano music in it is very gorgeous. People happy, yump. So glad we're staying on a good theme for real. Yeah, it's also got a very good length. So yeah, we stay with like 11 to 12. I've never watched an actual anime. I've watched very few. I've watched Yuri on Ice fully. I've watched Your Lie in April. I've watched Violet Evergarden, which I didn't like, sorry. And I've watched half of Death Note. I feel like you would enjoy Dungeon Meshi. It's on the watch list, yeah. I actually watched one movie. I've watched a few anime movies, but not very many shows. They're making a second props last season, yeah. I watched Your Name. I think I've heard of Your Name. It's about people's making food in a dungeon. Yeah, I've seen it about a lot. It's very popular, so might check it out. Stay poor. Alright. Suggestion number 3, away from anime but staying on the LGBT theme, is Kipo or Kaipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, which is about someone surviving a mutant attack, having to leave their like cozy underground shelter and suddenly being exposed to this like crazy world. Monka mutant. I've seen one movie too, by definition the older movie TV show, TV series is anime, so I've seen that, silly. So this is a bit longer show. I've heard so many good things about Kipo or Kaipo, and it's also on my watch list for sure. I think it has 3 seasons. And it's very highly praised for its queer representation. Are they Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No, I think as you can see, the Wonder Beasts here are like massive oversized creatures. Like there's like what are they called? Dragonfly that's like rideable by humans. Oh, Monka. So I think it's more like an Adventure Time, something changed the environment in some ways kind of situation. Monka. But it looks very colourful, very diverse as well. I'm intrigued, I'm certainly intrigued. And then our final recommendations of an anime, Adachi and Shimamura. Hopefully saying that. Wait, Kipo or Kaipo? Yes. That is a sapphic anime. It's about these two girls who are friends and they're very close, they do loads of things, but then Adachi is starting to develop feelings for her friend, and then suddenly things are changing. Yuri? What? Yeah, it's apparently quite highly praised and does have an actual sapphic relationship, not just bait. Fun fact, dragonflies the size of Kakaya's existed people smile. Despair. So that's also 12. So we have 3 animes, but some of which have also been given like a movie sequel or other kind of continuation. And we're also covering a variety of identities. So hopefully, obviously you already have seen Sasaki and Miyano, so people pay yellow, you sick. Yeah, I'm a bit ill still, but we ball, okay? We fucking ball. But yeah, I hope that the other 3 recommendations spark your interest. Thank you so much for sending in a request. This is very fun. I do actually want to see all of the shows I looked up for you. Even the animes, which it was very nice to look up for stuff that had kind of a bit of a narrower focus, because if you're not someone who watches a lot of anime regularly, it can be a bit overwhelming to get into. Yes, definitely will be watching them. Lubbers! Thank you so much for the request. Alright, V's, it's your time! V's cast in the house. Do we have V's? Our first book request. Yes, I needed rec so badly. I love doing the little rec research so much. Yeah, V's asked for a fiction book, 400 pages long, in the teen/YA age group, and wants it to be a fantasy. And because I know you, V's, I'm Allegra's. Yes, I've given you Allegra's, and of course your little TV head. 400 shelves, no way. Yeah, I made it look like a little bookshelf, and I was like, I know you, V's. You are a go, you're a go, and you love a bit of queer fiction. You're a bit of a queer reader, to say. So even though you didn't specify specifically, I've given you a lot of queer fantasy. Because I can, okay? For the vibes. You're a bit of a queer Allegra's. Okay, yeah, maybe that pause was carrying a lot of meaning. To be fair, we're all a bit of queer in the, Twitch chat. Alright, my first recommendation. I've not read personally, but it looks amazing. People, I see one of them queers, you're a bit girly pop. So Youngblood, this is a sapphic vampire novel. It's all about gay vampires in high school. That cover looks cool AF. I know, it's like slaying. Vampires, no way, sapphic vampires. I know, I was like, this is really fun for the gays and the girls, okay? People blush vampires. So, it's about a girl called Kat who's kind of struggling surviving as a vampire because there's a blood substitute that's super expensive, and there's a lot of struggles, and then she gets accepted to a prestigious prep school that's secretly vampires only. So we're really going all in, guys. We're going in. That's so me. People, wow. Yeah, this one looks so good. I have it on my to-read list. You've got everything. You've got the prep school, you've got the girls, you've got the vampires, you've got the sapphic romance, you've got the secrets, world building. There's a lot going on. Peepo-G. I knew I've heard of it somewhere. Secrets, no way. And obviously there's always secrets in these novels. So this one is a very strong entry. Then, one of my favorite books. I recommend this frequently for anyone who's looking for anything remotely connected to this. The Sunbearer Trials. This is Mexican/Latin American mythology meets the Hunger Games. Literally. It's about 10, and also meets Percy Jackson. If you think it, because there's like demigods called semidioses or semidoses. Apologies, Spanish speakers, that I'm actually killing it. Book cover sick, pretty cover. Yeah, it's such a apologies for all the slandering of the language, but it's about a quest where they have the Sunbearer Trials. 10 people get selected to participate, and they are the demigods fighting. There's a whole class system, there's a lot of mythology. The main character is a trans guy. There's multiple other queer characters as well as our main character. There's gay shit, there's magic. People are, like, the main character is a bird hybrid, essentially. Bro is just a bird. Epic. The trials are really engaging. It's like, really, if someone took a lot of the concept, the structure, theming of like the Hunger Games, but added like a Percy Jackson-esque twist, but the characters are older. The characters here are like older teens. Are you even gay if you don't like Percy Jackson? Gay JF. Magic. Haps, yeah. So this is a little bit older. I think the main character is 16 or so, as opposed to Percy, obviously, who's like 12 in the first book. So you have that added gay magic. Yeah, it's got also some really interesting like mythology. So if you are someone who wants to read outside of sort of the beaten path of Greek mythology and like Roman mythology, this is like a really approachable book. Plus just very queer and very trans affirmative as well. Absolute delight. Like, I mean, of the 10 participants in the Sunbearer Trials, 2 are trans, a main character and then another character. So, JKS. Love this book. It's a duology. The second book is coming out end of this year. Next, we have another book that I've not read but have on the reading list called The Magic Between, which does the description sound a bit fanfiction-y? Yes. Do I care? No. This is a world in which everyone has magic, and the magic has kind of like a soulmate system. Middle shelf skipped classic. Yeah, it would have been too small because I want you guys to watch. So apparently, the legends say that people with opposite magics have the chance to form unbreakable bonds. And obviously, we have 2 characters. It's a gay romance who are having this type of opposite magic clash, and it's from what I read is kind of also like a soulmates kind of thing. Yeah, and it's kind of a urban fantasy, so it's like a modern-esque world, kind of like our world, but if we all had magic. Looked fun, looked like quirky, looked kind of light, a bit fluffy. They were Green and Scar, no way. Green and Scar, yeah, it's just the Life series, season 1. This is what happens. I mean, to be fair, there's so many books getting published that are like secretly or not so secretly just RPF fanfiction repackaged. So at this point, like, are we surprised, guys? I would actually not be surprised if like in 3 years there's a fanfiction that is getting repackaged and published and it's just like an MCYT fanfic. Like, I'm waiting, guys. If there's like 3 different movies that have been made based on Harry Styles fanfictions, like we could get the Hermitcraft fanfic published. You know what I mean? Repackaged live series plot, no way. DNF rewritten to a normal book. No, the despair. If it's well done, it's well done. You know. At the end of the day, it's not that serious, and there are people who I feel like, well, this always happens. something gets big, the public faces of that thing are primarily women, and suddenly everyone is like crucifying this thing. And it's just like, where's your fun? Where's your whimsy? Who gives a shit if people are reading fluffy, smutty, like basically fanfic getting published? Like, it's fun, man. Have some whimsy. Jax made a really good story, but it was so many fanfics that was like ragey rewritten. Based. Yeah, so at that point, I'm like, just fucking allow people to have fun, man. Like, sometimes, some of the books that I'm also recommending are just like fucking fun. That's so Red, White, and Royal Blue. Surely someday we'll get Tashi's book. Yeah, like it's so fanfic. People could be reading literal shit and I don't give a fuck. It's just so annoying to me because I'm like, book talk and like bookish. I hated Red, White, and Royal Blue siring. I liked it. I did also like the movie a fair amount, but each their own, of course. It's more like when people start shit talking other people's book taste that I'm always kind of like, okay, and do I always like every book that gets really popular? No. You liked it? Yeah, I read it like years ago. It's kind of, is it cheesy? Is it a little bit wish fulfillment on the political side? Yes. Is it fun? Yeah. Stuff needs to be burned from the internet. The fanfics. Pretty much only read fanfic, KW. Fanfic is fun, okay? It's fun, and that's not bad. It was a bit too much for me, people are shocked. Yeah, it is an adult book, to be fair. Red, White, and Royal Blue has a cartoony, cutesy cover, but it's an adult novel with, like, explicit sex scenes. So, that's kind of... fanfics can be fun, yeah. Yeah, so I like, sometimes I'm there and I'm like, you know what, just let people have fucking fun with reading. Oopsie. At the end of the day, it's not that serious. Oh, exactly. And then my final recommendation is one that I think is so interesting. I've had it also on my reading list for a while, called When the Angels Left the Old Country, which gives me massive Good Omens energy, okay? This is about Uriel the Angel and Little Ash, short for Ash Medai, or Medai. They're the only two supernatural creatures in their city, and it's an angel and a demon. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's having that Good Omens core vibes. I've seen this one before. And they are drawing people into their city. Kind of being like supernatural entities ruling. Angela and Friends coded. They're drawing people into that city and ruling over it in a way, having this impact, but then someone goes missing in that town, so Uriel and Little Ash are looking to find who's missing. Damn, are they good painters. People giggles. It was my fave childhood cartoon, come on. Fair enough, that's fair enough. So this book, I'm like, I need to read this myself. And I was like, we have vampires, we have demigods, we have regular people with their magic, and now we have angels and demons, perhaps. So I feel like I've given a good fantasy creature overview. And we have Youngblood and the magic between are like romance fantasies, primarily. Sunbear Trials is like adventure fantasy, and When the Angels Left the Old Country is kind of like contemporary fiction, literary fiction fantasy. So hopefully these were enjoyable for you, V. I really appreciate the request. Only missing out fairies, people goes, oh my god. Does anyone else get this one TikTok person recommended to them who reads the most unhinged, mostly self-published supernatural romances, and it's like girl X door, girl X pillow and stuff? Like, does anyone know what I'm on about? I think their name is Fish, maybe? They're a funny fella, like, but I saw that, yes, girl X greater than girl X fork. I fear TikTok never installed it, people Christ, that's fair enough. Speaking of, I do have a TikTok that I'm trying to revive if anyone's on there. Alright. Next up, we have Lil. Unsure if Lil is here. Let's see if we can dink donk Lil, or if anyone has contact to them. Ding donking. Mod check. But yeah, Lil requested a live-action, still ongoing show with either 20 to 30-minute episodes or 50 to 60-minute episodes, 1 to 3 seasons, and also LGBT, saying, I love shitty romance shows and live-action shows. And I was like, I'm so up there. I'm so up there for this request, and I've given... They aren't in chat. Terrible. I've given Lil the Peepo Sit emote. Can we get some Peepo Sits in chat? So this was like a very interesting request, I thought. I just sent them the VOD. Yeah, if someone's not here immediately, they can always watch the VOD. So this was a very interesting request. My first selection is a reality TV show called I Kissed a Girl, about 10 singles getting matched together, they meet and they kiss. And it's set in a Italian fucking villa or whatever, and it's like the classic like bachelorette type dating show, except it's sapphics. It's women loving women exclusively. It's a spin-off apparently of another. I'll allow that. No way kissing girls. That's gay. Can't believe that's fucking gay. Holy shit. And it's apparently a spin-off of another show that I don't know. But I was like, that's fun. My mum doesn't actually watch gay dating shows. She watches YouTube, like this one YouTuber react to them and commentate on them, and I'm like, that's so base, mum. So I added it in. I think it has 1 season with 10 episodes. Gay, yump. Yeah, so this is for the sapphics. This is for, especially because Lil did point out the whole shitty romance show, so I'm like, react Andy's ad so much. Yeah, so apparently I have it on my watch list because my mum was like, hey, do you want me to send you like the link? And I was like, yeah, of course. Ragey mods are homophobic deleted by message / lovers mods. No, the thing is I meant to not do that. That was me. James, could you fix that? I meant to allow it and then I just accidentally denied it. James, could you fix that? Kicked up at you. Yeah, I'm a good streamer, I promise. Alright. My next is a show called Two Brothers. Only has 8 episodes, so it's 1 season only. This is a drama show. It's a set of fraternal twins called Aiden and Aaron. They're living in a small town, and it's all about them struggling with their identities because they are brown people in a small town, but one of them is gay as well. Cannot re-allow the message. Rip. So, looks interesting, gay. So we have like the brother dynamic, sort of the experience of being a minority in singular, but also intersectional, multi-dimensional ways. Sound interesting. You gotta set it again if you wish. Looked interesting. I've never heard of this show before, so I was like, you know what? Interesting. Intersexual, multidimensional, what? Intersectional, as in intersectionality. And it's like multidimensional because there's many dimensions. No, there's no intersexual representation here. I can't, yeah. Except straight and gay, I guess. But yeah, don't really know anything about that show. I Kissed a Girl, I think there was also a show called I Kissed a Boy, but that one's ended. Since someone was requesting ongoing shows, I've only added I Kissed a Girl. Our third one is Interview with the Vampire, the TV show based on the Anne Rice novel. I've seen this about, loads of people love it a lot. It's gay vampires. Okay, Yuri is better than Yaoi anyway, Turbien. And it's about this vampire who is just kind of vibing in 1900s New Orleans. And then this guy called Louis is living in this 1900s New Orleans as well, as a black man, kind of struggling because times were shit, racism, do be prevalent everywhere, and then he gets kind of pulled into by this vampire with the promise of power and sort of prestige. But then obviously things happen, there's consequences to being sort of given that power. So I've heard like only good things about the show, so I want to watch it as well. It has 2 seasons. So we've got vampires, we've got gay shit, we've got historical setting, interesting things. Very intriguing. This has really, I think these 2 have like the shorter episodes from memory. Interview with the Vampire I think has really long episodes. And then 4th, we have a show called We're Here, which is about 3 drag queens visiting various American cities and kind of putting on a drag show, one day only performance with local people. So it's kind of Queer Eye, but for drag queens, and it's like all about the performance. Looks fun, looks flashy, looks lively, and obviously a cool priority set as well with the anti-drag movement in the US at the moment. So they also do, I think, some charity work from memory. So looked very cool. I think this has like 3 or 4 seasons. I think 3, because I wouldn't have included anything that has 4. So I think it has 3 seasons. Looks fun, looks flashy. So we've got a classic sort of dating reality TV show, we've got a drama, we've got a fantasy / historical, and we've got a very classic kind of touring the country show, but with a queer twist, of course. Perhaps. Yeah, I hope Lil likes these recommendations. Next up, James's first request. There we go, guys. Get ready for a lot of James in this presentation, because bro was actually the GOAT and did so many suggestions and so many requests, so thank you so much. And our first one is a strategy game or casual game, puzzle, and he added, always looking for more puzzle games, but specifically something similar to Dwarf Romantic, if you know what that is. I do know what that is. I've played the prototype of it, and I played the full game at Gamescom 2 years ago when they were bringing it out on the Switch. So that was super helpful, because generally there's like a billion puzzle games, but now I was really like looking for games that have a tile hexagonal design and that are puzzle games. So I think I found some absolute bangers. We're starting with Nekokami, the Human Restoration Project, which is about building beautiful, peaceful worlds in a universe ruled by cats. Just all that you want, really. Like, what more do you need in life? So there's cats, there's puzzles, it's gorgeous looking, and there is a free demo prologue called Nekokami Internship. So if you do, I also have it on the demo list. And this is very cute, very sweet looking, and definitely has that Dwarf Romantic gameplay system of having hexagonal tiles to be placed. Very cute looking. Next up, another animal / nature themed puzzle game called Preserve. This is about making ecosystems that perfectly fit plants and animals and making a symbiosis. Hexagons are the bestagons, perhaps. And this is currently only out as a demo, but it's releasing on August 8th this year. So that is very exciting. It looks gorgeous. It's very serene, because you've got that nature calming element. And then our third one is Panorama, which is a city building hexagonal puzzle game. This is all about landscapes, abilities, and making beautiful panoramas. And apparently there's animal friends included. Very pretty, and all have the same overall feel as Dwarf Romantic, but Dwarf Romantic is obviously about making your perfect village. If you're wondering what that means, it's village romanticism. It's what the title translates to. And the games that I looked up for James, we have cats, we have nature, we have cities. So each has a different focal point. I hope you like these games, James. And for James especially, it was very helpful where he asked quite a few games. He requested quite a few games. And we are Steam friends, so I was just able to check if he already owned any of the games or already had like wishlisted any of the games. So all the games I think that I'm suggesting for you, you have not had on your wishlist or owned before. Terrible. And yeah, of course, I've added the James emote and a little bee on the screen. Alright. Have you noted people G'd your ex, James? B. So true. So true. I didn't even intentionally made a gap that big at the start, but it fits the follow goal perfectly. It's so funny to me. Alright, because we are continuing with James, who requested documentary movies, any length, but nothing with wars, nothing about historical events or happenings. And I was like, this was a challenge, okay? This was truly a little challenging. I was like, alright, what can we do? So I took historical events to be like a particular thing that happened that is kind of impactful. James 2 Electric Boogaloo. So I hope you like my recommendations, because this was truly a bit of a challenge. All right, my first recommendation I have actually seen. Yeah, I figured. This is Won't You Be My Neighbor, the movie about Mr. Rogers. If you don't know Mr. Rogers, he was the host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which is a very impactful US kids TV show that was very sort of beloved and still is beloved, even though it has long ended because Mr. Rogers, the guy, has also been dead for quite a few years. And I didn't even know much about Mr. Rogers, but I saw the movie in the cinema in the US when I visited, because my friend who I was staying with, her family had won tickets to see this movie in the cinema. And I went along, and I actually felt like I now love Mr. Rogers, and I've watched some of the show. And I'm just like, he was a big pioneer of sort of gentle parenting and a really creative and dedicated mind to shaping a new generation, basically. And it's all about sort of his impact and the question, basically, have we lived up to Fred's ideal of good neighbors? This movie will make you cry, though. Like, I will not kid. Like, this is a sob fest in a good way. Like, you will feel just the most touched feeling, or like it's very easy to feel touched, I should say. I again saw this in the cinema, and by the end of the movie I had literally soaked through my tissues. I cried that much. It is a gorgeous movie. It's beautiful. It's really lovingly said. I feel like Mr. Rogers is also kind of a little bit more in the public imagination again because of the Tom Hanks movie, which came out like a year or two after this. The Tom Hanks movie is okay, but it's a fictionalized movie, and Tom Hanks just doesn't have... Like, he isn't Mr. Rogers, you know what I mean? Like, Mr. Rogers has a very distinct vibe, and he was a bit of a product of another era. Being sick also soaks a bunch of tissues from experience, true, but so Mr. Rogers the person, you can also find like clips of him and also of the show on YouTube for free and stuff. But yeah, he was kind of known for having hit the song at the end of every episode was all about it's you I like, and it's all about that you don't need to be anyone else except being yourself, and you will be like accepted and loved. And it's such a like radical sentiment when the show aired at the time, just like the 80s and 90s, to have such a loving, inclusive message and put that at the forefront of TV. So yeah, highly recommend, even if you've never heard anything about Mr. Rogers. He was a very special person. Next up we have, I've heard of him briefly, and we have How to Dance in Ohio. This is a movie about autistic joy. I mentioned it's about a spring formal preparation of a group of autistic teenagers and young adults. Kind of learning to manage that situation, engaging with that situation, and it's all about kind of showing a more joyful perspective on autistic life than just like the typical documentary, like look at these weird people. Basically, this is much more of an own voices perspective. Heard many good things about it. It looked really fun and interesting, so I have not seen that one myself. Then next up we have Gaming in Color, which is about the queer community in gaming. Thought this was super interesting. It's all about queer characters in games, but also queer developers in gaming. Really interesting. I've not seen this one in particular, but it looks really fun and it's on my watch list. Looks very fun. Queer side of gaming and the gaming industry's LGBTQ presence. And also just look at that poster, it looks so cool. And then finally we have another, the test card is a nice touch. I do like it, it's very good. We have another gay movie, because why not, called Gaby Baby, which is about kids who were raised by same-sex couples. So parents facing sort of the challenge in quotations of what it's like raising a child who is being raised by two moms, two dads. I assume it's just those two perspectives, because this movie is a little older, but it's focusing on 4 different kids and their families. The movie is from like 2015, so this was like just as same-sex marriage was being legalized in the US. Maybe a bit of a product of its time, but I also think it's very interesting to have that as a focal point for a documentary movie. So yeah, these are the movies for James. Very much a challenge to find stuff that isn't too like super historical. So I ended up going with TV, autism, and queer stuff. So hope you enjoy the selection, James. Noted. Alright. Then we have James again! Absolute shocker. Ain't no way, it's James again. This time it was a request for a creature collector. Can be adventure, RPG, strategy, or casual. And he added something my laptop could handle, so no need for high graphics or whatnot. So no, like, you need a NASA PC to play. And thankfully, creature collectors are very popular, so I found some very interesting selections. First up, we have Croco Loco, which is a frog collecting game. There's frogs, there's feeding, there's growing. You could control a frog in this game. It looks super cute. And I know you kind of like those idle games as well. The laptop slowly falling apart live classic. It's so classic. So I know you like this genre of game, like the sub-genre a lot. So you have the fish game. What Chillquarium I think you own. So I feel like you will enjoy Croco Loco. It looks very cute. There's little froggies. What do you want? Oop, sorry for knocking the microphone. Yes, I'm getting billions in it. So true. Next up, we have one that I'm actually playing very soon as a demo, because it's not out yet, there's only the demo, called Bugaboo Pocket. This is a pixel bug collecting game. Obviously, if you don't like bugs, this is not your case, but it's about playing as a research scientist researching bugs, and you're just vibing, you're raising and releasing them to recover a species, to help a species recover after a fire. So you are a scientist, and it looks super cute. The aesthetics are very much like Game Boy vibe. Nice touch is putting the system requirements alongside OM. These are all very simple graphics, either pixel graphics or like low intensity animation. OMG pretty. Bugaboo Pocket I'm so excited to play. It looks gorgeous. If you're not freaked out by bugs and you like Game Boy era pixel graphics, but more beautiful because more power, absolutely my big rec. Isn't out yet, but I think it's still worth it, and you can try the demo for free. Third, we have a kind of a classic in terms of creature collectors that aren't Pokemon, Cassette Beasts, which I actually played before it launched, and they were having a stall at Gamescom. This is about collecting monsters, doing turn-based battles. It's an open world RPG, there's a multiplayer mode, and it's all like retro tech themed. Very cool. I really like. It's a cool game. It really surprised me how much it's popped off. It has like an overwhelmingly positive review rating on Steam. Because again, like when I first saw it at Gamescom, it was like it didn't have like a crazy pull. Like the booth wasn't like massively overrun all the time. It was pretty easy to playtest the game. So it's been lovely to see that they've had so much success over the years. Well, this is just kind of like if you're like retro tech and you are generally a fan of a Pokemon type game, I feel like you will have a good time with Cassette Beasts. I feel like James would enjoy old Pokemon games. Haps. And then finally, we have Fishlets, which is a fish collecting simulation game. I know you have a one already, but this one I feel like is a bit of a different flavor. It's all about feeding, breeding, selling, and collecting fish and aquatic critters in a little virtual tank. There's a bunch of levels. There's adventure mode as well, which is really, really cool. So you have kind of that idle, like desktop saving kind of gameplay, but you also have an adventure mode where you have to apparently defend your fish and unlock new fish and shit. So it looks super cute, similar art style to Croco Loco, similar price point as well. So you've got the whole collection. It's kind of amphibia heavy, so we've got frogs, we've got fish, we've got bugs, and then we have monsters. But I hope you enjoyed these recommendations. Fish Tower Defense, yeah, it's Fish Tower Defense. These are super cute. These are largely also really affordable. The most expensive game here is Cassette Beasts, which is $20. So really, you've got so many choices, and this is taking into account the amount of these types of games that James already owns. I did cross-check with his Steam, so if you're wondering, oh, this one really obvious one I'm not recommending, it's because he already owns it. Kick W. Next up, oh my god, it's James again! Can you believe it? Ain't no weighing. This time asking for a simulation or strategy management game, specifically zoo management or something with animals in general, which was a very, very cool request. Love those types of games. So let's jump right in. First up, we've got Fantastic Haven, which is currently not out. It has a free prologue out, which we are playing, by the way, during the subathon. This is about making a habitat of saving endangered fantasy creatures. Exploring, building shelters, rehabilitating these creatures in their natural environments. It looks gorgeous. It's by the makers of Game Dev Tycoon, one of my all-time favorite games. And it's their first game in like a decade. And it looks just absolutely stunning. It's literally Zoo Tycoon, but magic. And obviously modern graphics. Really gorgeous. At the moment, obviously, only a demo out. I have no idea how many I made. A few. James is carrying the stream, to be honest. So we have Fantasy Haven. And then we have, of course, a classic Planet Zoo. This one might be a bit high-end for your PC. Not sure. It's a very realistic zoo from the developers of Planet Coaster and Zoo Tycoon. This is the ultimate zoo sim. Would recommend for this one to wait for a sale because it's kind of expensive full price. But it's all about like authentic zoo management and design and sort of the whole process. They have it looks really pretty. There's a big variety of habitats and different creatures. 100% is, but I will keep in mind when I get an actual PC. Yeah, so this is kind of like, I feel like it's not a list of zoo management games without Planet Zoo, you know? It's one that I have on my list, like when it goes on sale, I will also buy it at some point. Then third, we have not a zoo game, but a dog shelter simulation game called To the Rescue. On the wishlist it goes, yep, real. This is about managing a dog shelter, finding homes for the dogs, learning the dogs' preferences, managing everything, making sure any issues are getting solved. And it also supports real-world animal shelters by buying the game, so it looks gorgeous. It has had a little bit mixed reviews because some people say it has too repetitive gameplay, but honestly, I find sometimes that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for something comforting, you're looking for something chill and relaxing. And it reminds me of this one Flash game I used to play as a kid, which was also about running a dog shelter, and I loved that game. It was the only Flash game I ever finished. I played the entire game, it's like 2 hours, 3 hours long. On a browser, so we'll maybe play that on stream at some point. But yeah, To the Rescue looks really cute, has cute like a pixel aesthetic, so really not getting that PC to chunk along. And then right, kind of as like a if Planet Zoo is too high end for you, Let's Build a Zoo, which is the soundtrack we're listening to right now, is the perfect alternative. It's a pixel visual zoo that's all about being able to not only make your zoo, but also splice DNA and make, it says, over 300,000 different types of animals. So there's genetic creations. Where's the yellow PNG tuber awkward? It's not there because it would cover up the presentation. I don't have the PNG for my PowerPoint streams. Mostly because I forget to make like a space on the presentation that I don't cover with text. Ow, Sag. I know. I love how it took you like an hour and a half to notice. Make it really tiny. Ooh. Do you want me to add it? Like a Peepo tiny yellow? Do you want me? Or nah? You fine without it? Be a real presenter, make it walk back and forth. Peepo giggles. Nah, it's okay, Peepo giggles. If I had a 2-monitor setup, I would. But right now, I'm glad that it's working in the way that I've set it up so far. So yeah, we've got the dog shelters kind of positioning outside of the other ones. You've got, if you're looking for fantasy, Fantastic Haven, the prologue, and then a more realistic zoo and a more pixely, fun, fantasy-esque zoo as well. Yellow's a literal ghost right now, we cannot see him. No way. I've become the prophecy. The prophecy! Noted. And holy shit, it's James again. Did you see this coming? Oh my god. However, this time we're looking for horror games. Action, adventure, RPG, strategy, casual horror games. But nothing with just jump scares, otherwise go ham. So no FNAF. But this was actually so interesting. And I based it heavily on what I know James regularly plays anyway. No, this is just a projector screen. True. You want a massive video game repertoire, don't you, James? People giggles. James is the king of games. Yes. Yeah, the thing that I most associate with James is being a bigger gamer than me. I'll be real. This man is truly a dedicated gamer. And our first game is called Slay the Princess. It's a visual novel with a free demo available. It's black and white, it's very cool aesthetically. And it says, "You're here to slay the princess, don't believe her lies." And I think it's tagged psychological horror. I know James is a big visual novel gamer, so I feel like this will be up your alley. Buy it, loser, play, damn! It looks really, really interesting. I have the demo downloaded already. This is cool. I have seen it though, KW. The main VA for it is the guy from the Magnus Archive. Please don't jump scare me to the end. No jump scares in the presentation, don't worry. Please, did you get spoiled for most of it? Yes. My second suggestion is another demo that I have downloaded. The full game is also out, called I Did Not Buy This Ticket. This is a psychological horror story all about being a professional mourner. This looks really abstract, super interesting story. Again, I have the demo downloaded already. Then why you're the train mate. You're riding a nightmarish bus, apparently, whose destination depends on how you choose to face your traumas. Really fucking interesting. The art style for this is kind of collage energy, like cutting stuff out of magazines, and it looks really interesting. Another visual novel or like interactive fiction. Super interesting. Curious if you've heard of this, but these are the two more like intense visual novels that I selected. And then our third choice is a point-and-click game with puzzles and escape room mechanics. And it's about sort of twisted fairy tales called Tales from Candleforth. It's all about a cursed fairy tale book that is bleeding out into the world with 2D graphics. Very pretty. Steam just cause it's visual novel doesn't mean it's similar to Tavern Talk, but seems fun. Fair. So this one looks super interesting. Obviously the hand-drawn 2D art, super gorgeous. And with a unique plot. And I love a good point-and-click adventure or story game. And I also know you like escape room games, so I feel like this will be up your alley. Catch up. Yeah, sorry, this is the time I said. What did you think of these suggestions, James? Terrible. Can we get some... When I have to blow my nose, can we get some you-knows in the chat? Is that actually noted and wishlisted? Yippee! Alright, is it gonna be James? Is it gonna be James, guys? It's gonna be James. Did you see this coming? No, I was completely shocked. I did not see it coming. He's blowing his load. Don't phrase it that way. Jesus Christ. Classic. We cannot... No load blowing on this Twitch channel. Just nose blowing. Your nose. So this is James's first book request. Can we get some claps? James asked for a book with 100 or more pages, no matter how many, general audience fiction, romance, and just said queer romance, please and thank you. Very to the point, excellent. I've given the perfect assignment for me, basically. Gay plus Allegros. My first recommendation is called Conventionally Yours. I have read this and I really liked it. It's a book about two guys who are big into the card game, I guess, competitive card games scene. Kind of like, it's a fictionalized version of like Magic the Gathering, basically. And they are part of this YouTube channel, but they don't really get along. But then they're forced to go on a road trip to this convention where they're set to play in a tournament. So it's like an enemies to lovers road trip book. It's gay, it's nerdy, it's fun. It's just a fun book. And it's part of a series as well with kind of loose reoccurring characters in the sequels. Just good vibes if you're someone who likes a good road trip narrative, which I do, and you're just there for an interesting dynamic and that sort of fandom framing. It's a fun book. It's like 400 pages. A good time. I think I gave this like 4.5 stars. I read it a few years ago. And I have read the next book set in the same universe, called Out of Character, which was also really good, so would recommend. Seems like a fun and easy grab to get back to reading. Yeah, it's very much like there are some heavier topics. Like one of our protagonists is kind of desperate to win this tournament because he's really struggling financially, and the other guy is kind of dealing a lot with mental health and like anxiety. So it's the typical YA sort of / new adult formula where even a lighter, fluffier read will very frequently have a bit of a serious B-plot sort of sprinkled in. Next up we have a book I have not read called Blank Spaces. This is another like gay man romance. This is about one guy who's kind of on top of his life with friends, career, everything, except he's kind of like on his own in terms of romance, and he's also really struggling to find anyone because he's not into sex. So from what I read, this is an ace main character, but then he meets a guy because he leads an art gallery. He's an art gallery guy. A piece of art gets stolen from the art gallery, and an insurance investigator shows up who's like kind of throwing all these decisions of kind of like, I'm not really focusing on romance anyway because it's such a struggle. All of these kind of decisions are getting thrown out the window because this investigator's hot. Sounds cute, sounds fun. It's also part of a series again, and I do love, of course, if like interesting representation. I think this was also like self-published, maybe, question mark, not sure. Then next up we have Hideous Beauty. This is another gay romance. Sorry James, I've given you like all of the Achillean romances. Apologies. It just happened, it wasn't even on purpose. This is about two guys, Dylan and Ellis, who are getting outed on social media about being together. And they're like, oh shit, this sucks, but we're gonna face this straight up. I don't mind where the Yuri at. You got a lot of Yuri before and you're gonna get more later. No ragey outing, but they're gonna, like, they're like, yay, we're actually getting a really good reception to their unintentional coming out. But then tragedy strikes when Ellis, one of the guys, has a car accident I know. Dylan is in the car, survives this car accident, but Ellis drowns. So it's kind of a similar plot to History's All You Left Me, if anyone knows that book. Also good book. Ellis dies, and Dylan is all broken up, obviously, about these news, and tries to figure out what really happened. Like, what caused this accident, what has been going on in his boyfriend's life. And there's a bunch of secrets getting exposed, apparently. So this is less like cute romance, this is more like sad romance. But I've had this book on my reading list for a really long time, for multiple years. And it just sounds very intriguing. I love a good bit of mystery. And from the way that this book is described, I think it has quite a lot of focus on their relationship while it was ongoing. And also, of course, what happens afterwards. So if this is a bit too, like, depressing for you, don't worry. We have, like, the other cutesy suggestions to balance it out. And then our fourth recommendation here is Carry the Ocean, another first book in a series. Guy just finished high school. And he meets this whirlwind of another character who comes in, is super interested in him, and who is autistic. And it's all about them navigating their relationship. While one of them is struggling a lot with, like, mental health, and also with the prejudices faced against people who are neurodivergent or who are struggling with mental health issues. But also, it's a sweet, cute romance. Sounded good, sounded interesting. If I remember correctly, I got this recommended from Elle's boyfriend, who really liked the book. So I've got a secondary vouch for that one. So of these, I've read one, Elle's boyfriend has read the other, and two are kind of just random recommendations. Elle's boyfriend seems cool, so I approve. Yeah, when it comes to some more diverse and multi-identity rep in books, there is quite a lot to be found in indie or self-publishing. So Blank Spaces and Carry the Ocean are both, like, indie or self-published. Right, next, are you ready? It's not James, guys. It's Ryan! Holy shit. Is Ryan here? I don't think so. What? I know, holy shit. If anyone has, like, a contact line to Ryan, do, not James though, I know, do ping him. But yeah, Ryan wanted a fiction book, 100 to 200 pages, so a shorty. That's teen or young adult, LGBTQIA+ vibe. So by the way, like 100 to 200 means basically as long as it's not hitting 300, that's included. Because that's kind of how I've approached it generally with the lengths. For Ryan, the first book I chose is one I have actually read also recently, Fake Dates and Mooncakes. This is a very sweet, fluffy, but also substanceful gay romance about basically people from two different backgrounds. One is a kid called Dylan who is working in his aunt's Chinese takeout business and is very much trying to get over the death of his mom, but also trying to participate in a mooncake competition to win money for the takeout. And then we have a rich kid who, OMG Chinese food. There's a lot of focus on food in this book, so if you're interested in that, if you like that, I would really recommend this book. And then we have Theo, who's the love interest. He is the rich kid who asks Dylan to be his fake date to a family wedding full of crazy rich drama. It's like a very summer read. It's fun, it's good, but it's also about them sort of handling things like cultural heritage, grief, expectation management, and of course the class difference that is between them. And I thought it was very well handled. The word version of those food videos, people goes, yeah, really, really cute, really fun, a dynamic story. I had a great time with this book. From memory, it was like a 4 to 5 star book for me, out of 5. Very lovely. Also very short. This is, I think, 250 or 70 pages. So if you're looking for something quick, fun to pick up for like a holiday, or if you want to get back into reading, I'd say this is a great pick. My second choice, I've also actually read. I had an advanced copy for this. It's called Ren Martin Ruins It All. It's about a kid called Ren who is, by like basically coincidence, gets made student council president, which has been his goal for the whole time, and he's very intense about it. His main goal that he wants to accomplish is getting rid of the Valentine's Day dance, which has been especially grating on him because of the financial focus on it, but also because he's ace and really dislikes this environment. Are those chickens? Yes, he has pet chickens in the book. It's a really... And the whole thing is also there's a dating app / friendship app in the school, because why not? There always just is. And he has this enemy in real life, but of course, without knowing about it, it's that classic You've Got Mail plot of they start getting closer online, but in real life they hate each other, but they don't know that they're like a dating app. It's like it's meant to be a friendship app, but people use it as a dating app. Cause why not, Siren? It's just fun, man. Like, and this book is really... Ren is a very like anxious but passionate main character. He's very lovable, and you really feel for him what it's like to have that environment where everyone's super obsessed with sex and romance, and he's just kind of like, I feel like I can't date because I don't want any sex, so I'm really struggling with all this stuff going on. There's a drama, there's like inner school politics. Really well written. Would highly recommend. I gave this a 5 star because it has that fun like high school drama, kind of like The Politician, the TV show on Netflix, or I don't even know equivalent, but I feel like that's the closest, except it's less like insane because this is a bit younger YA-ish. He's like 17, I think. But really a fun book, and also another book with an ace main character. So, and he has a gay romance, so kind of rare to see a gay and ace character in fiction generally, but also in YA, so would recommend. And it's a quick read too. My third suggestion is maybe a bit longer, but I feel like it's still allowed. It's Imogen, obviously. If you want a gay and ace character, Leju. Yeah, Imogen obviously is a book that I recommend very frequently. The Magnus Archives, Leju. I do want to get into Magnus Archives eventually. Imogen obviously is my favorite Becky Albertalli book of Love Simon fame. It's about Imogen, who's always been the hashtag greatest ally in her friendship group and her family, and she's been super involved because of her little sister being queer. But then it's all about, oh, college is about to be starting, and her like one of her friends is already at college, inviting Imogen over. She thinks it's all chillin', it's all vibes, but surprise, her friend, who recently came out as a lesbian, actually told all of her friends that Imogen and her used to date. So Imogen, who's always had this like straight TM role in her friendship and group and family, is now suddenly viewed as bisexual. And surprise, there's a cute gay at college. A cute gay. I meant a cute girl, but also a cute gay at college. And Imogen and her are getting closer, and it's like Imogen is really questioning this image that she's always had in her life as the world's greatest ally. It's it's charming, it's funny, like they have such good text conversations in this book. It's a slightly older YA with them, like the majority of the book is set at universities. I think they're like 18 freshly, 18 to 19 the characters. And it's a banger. It's actually such a banger, and Becky Albertelli's own personal experience of kind of having, let's say, not the greatest coming out experience of all time is really felt in this book. You really can tell that she wrote a lot of her own feelings and her own personal experience into this book. It's a banger. It's actual banger. Chef's kiss. And my fourth one I've also read. For this category, I've actually read all the books. This is Meet Cute Diary. It's about a guy who writes this blog, and it's all about happily ever after stories. So he's the Tumblr reader of our dreams, and it's specifically trans love stories. However, the love stories are actually fake. He presents it as if they're all sent in by real people. They are fake. Because it kind of spiraled, and he wanted to give people like the hope, including himself as a trans guy, to have the hope for like the happy ever after that is often denied to trans people. And then suddenly, though, someone is starting to publicly shit talk the blog and threatening to expose that it's all a fake. And Noah's trying to figure out who is this troll, who is coming after him, and how to fix this problem. Enter this guy Drew, who offers to fake date Noah to fix this blog issue. So they enter a big fake romance to very publicly on social media to save the blog and distract from this troll. It's a cute romance, it's gay, it's trans, it's social media heavy, but like in a fun way. Also kind of light and fluffy for the majority of the book, but in a... it still is not going to leave you empty. I enjoyed all of these books immensely. These were like 4 to 5 star books for me, and I heavily recommend all of them. They're very fun. They might not be for everyone, of course. Like, I do my best to give you what the request is, but there's of course room for like taste differences. Alright. I hope Ryan liked these recommendations. And everyone who isn't able to be here while I'm reading out their recommendation fulfillment, of course, can check out the VOD. I'll talk about it in the Discord as well. Next up, we have James again! Can we get some claps? Returning of the King. This time, a live action show. Doesn't matter if it's ongoing or ended. Any season amount. 30 to 60 plus minute episodes. Immense freedom. Criminal procedural. And he said, as a note, for examples, I like CSI, parentheses all of them, Criminal Minds, NCIS, and Law & Order SVU, of course. Giggle, James break, then James again. It's just always... James is being so purple guy coded right now. I always come back. This is for the FNAF fans. Enjoy. William Afton, brother coming back. And both James and me, we love criminal procedurals, and I also know that James is someone who doesn't love slow criminal procedurals. The raccoon behind the slaughter. Yeah. So he doesn't tend to go for crime dramas or criminal procedurals where there's like one case a season, so I've tried to limit that for him. And of course, I also excluded all the ones he mentioned already, based on the fact that he obviously knows them. My first suggestion, which is the most underrated criminal procedural of all time in my opinion, Homicide: Life on the Streets. Icon, she's slayed, and she does not get the recognition she fucking deserves. This is a show about the Baltimore Police Department homicide unit specifically. It's from the 90s. But it's the only criminal procedural show with a large cast that focuses on a police department or something, with multiple queer characters in the main cast. Which is sad, but it's true. It's an icon. it's obviously a little old, so some stuff might be a bit outdated or totally you're like, oh, but overall this is kind of like a more realistic crime procedurals. Is based on a real book by a journalist who spent time with the homicide department in like the late 80s, early 90s in Baltimore, and they adapted this to be the series, but of course made it its own thing. It's dramatic, it's intense, it's funny, great characters. It has a young Andrew Brower from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if anyone loves that show. It has him as a detective in this show, and it's a banger, it's an icon, driving show. It has 7 seasons and then a movie. The perfect vibe. Highly recommend. To me, it's such a shame that it gets left behind. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, knowing that you might forget it again. I'm one of the few ones I've actually seen 1 or 2 seasons, but I do need to get the rest of the seasons kicked up at you. The GOAT, actually the GOAT. It also has like some of the best content in this show is from like season 5 onwards, which is a rare thing. So this is the one I've actually seen. Everything else I'm suggesting I have not, but have on my watch list. My next suggestion is Prodigal Son, which is about an FBI profiler who's the son of a serial killer. There's crime solving, but he's also trying to assuage his own fear that he might be becoming like his serial killer dad. I think it has 2 seasons or so. The reason I know about this show, I've had it on my watchlist for a long time, is because the serial killer dad is played by Michael Sheen, who plays Aziraphale in Good Omens, and I really like him as an actor. I've watched a lot of his discography. He's a really, really lovely actor and very much manages that unsettling energy that you want from like a serial killer character. Very interesting. From the description, it seems like, because it says solves crimes for the NYPD, that he doesn't just focus on one case. Next up, we have The Fall. We have another drama with a serial killer. It's about a policewoman who is going up against this dad, who is in fact a serial killer. And it's set in Belfast, in the UK. It's drama. Seemed very interesting. I've not heard anyone really talk about this show, but I love a good show where you have like a duo and they're facing up against each other. Unsure, however, how much is it always focused on like one case or multiple cases, but I feel like it's an under-discussed show. Alright, and my final recommendation is Endeavour, which is a historical show. This is also technically a sequel, but like it's supposed to be a standalone. This is about a police constable and his partner, and it's about investigations set in Oxford. They look fancy. I'm a big fan of like guys in suits, so I feel like this has interesting things to offer. And it's apparently like the backstory of a character who's in another UK police drama. Kind of like it, kind of vibe with it, as I think a few seasons. Yeah, these are my crime suggestions. Tasty men in suits. That is so based. I 100% agree. Wait, I'm gonna get some cream real quick. Because I got some like prescription medication cream because I've had some like probably stress related like skin issues recently, and I tried like the non-medicated stuff, but it just wouldn't go away, and now I've got some meds. Whoop. Where's the cap gone? Jesus Christ. I know, it sucks. It's like, if I wish, man, like people who go through life and experience stress and it's just like a mental issue for them, I'm fucking jealous. Cup of the water, found it. Because I always get physical symptoms too. Like, I get sleep issues and skin issues and, I don't know, headaches and digestion problems or whatever. It's like always one or two of those. So yeah, I'm using like prescription cream on the parts of my skin that are like fucked up right now. TMI, but you know what? Gotta spread awareness about medical issues because it's fine to have them. Hopefully it helps. It has helped quite a lot, yeah. Already, like in 2-3 days of usage, it's gone. As the improvement I would normally see after like a week or two. So it's helped a lot. And we're back to James. Holy shit. Can you believe it? No way. It's another video game request. He said, adventure, RPG, simulation, strategy, casual, everything except racing. The theme cozy, and the note just says, go ham. So I had a lot of fun with this, obviously. I've added happy cat for you. You had some happy cats in the chat. I don't know, I feel like this is your energy. You know, that's the energy. And we start off with the game for the James. This is called Seasons of Rocco, and it's about helping a raccoon called Rocco prepare for the winter season by gathering and sorting fruit at his treehouse in the autumn season. This looks so fucking cute. This guy's stealing all your recommendations. Recommendation bandwidth. It looks so adorable. It has an old raccoon, and guys, it's free. This is a 100% free game. No way. And it says a relaxing experience for cozy gamers who seek a delightful escape into the charming seasons. Delight, I have this downloaded. We will be playing it on the channel eventually. And the second I saw this, I was like, this is a James game. Or a James Jame, if you will. Have you thought about that, how your name is just Games, but with a J? You were made to be a gamer, I fear. Literal James game, yeah. Your Honor, I fear he was made to be a gamer. I love jaming. That sounds like it's jaming. It's like jamming. Oh my god, wait. This is you, holy shit. And then our next suggestion is Beacon Pines. This is another visual novel adventure type game. It says it's a cute and creepy adventure set within a mysterious book. It has the most gorgeous illustration style. It's about making friends, finding out secrets, and collecting words that will change the course of fate. Super interesting, and the art style is just phenomenal. Very delightful. And then our third choice here is Scroll the Pain Away. This is a magic shop problem-solving game. So you own a little magic shop and people come in and you solve their issues. It's a simulation game, but kind of aesthetically similar to interactive fiction or visual novels. Super cute looking. Big hype. Have we noted, have we noted? Hypeed, noted. Can you guess who the next request is from? Clueless. Clueless. Obviously it's James. Fossilbot Clueless. It's James. I've added the nudge cat. This time it was a simulation strategy or casual game building. And he said, something cozy and doesn't need to be anything realistic AF. Classic. I love this nudge. I kept getting new ideas kicked over you. I'm loving it. It was very, very fun to look up all the stuff for you. Especially because I know that for the games and everything else, you are like actually gonna take those into consideration. Alright. Here we start with Kingdoms and Castles, which is a city/kingdom simulation building game. It's all about developing your kingdom from a little hamlet to a big castle. There's war, there's trade agreements, alliances, and building, it seems. And it says each villager and resources individually simulated. Really interesting. Also has a relatively nice art style as well, which I feel like with city sims isn't always a given. I like this art style. I feel like it manages this theme very well. Next up we have Build Lands. This is about building cute islands. It's much more like about having a relaxing experience, less about like having to follow intense rules or anything. It's very cutesy. It's currently also on sale. It's this one is really affordable. If you're looking for a really affordable game, like currently it costs like $2, chat. So if you're looking for a cute little low stakes building game, this one I feel like is gonna hit the mark. And then the third one is Terratoy. This is a planet building sandbox game. It's very chill. It's like forming the planet literally by like dragging and shit, digging rivers, painting beaches, just kind of vibing with a little planet that you can shape and alter. It looks super cute. It has that kind of retro poly aesthetic, like polypixely, like PlayStation 1 kind of vibe. Super cute. So I love how we went from like small to big. So it's like you start out with cities or kingdoms, then you go to islands, then it's on planets. The entire planet is getting shaped by the James. Yeah, I think that one was pretty fun. Alright, are you ready? It's James again, holy shit. I've given you another cat. This one was a visual novel / interactive fiction from action, adventure, RPG, and casual genres, and he said, you know what I like? Doesn't need to be only dating sims though, lol. I was like, by the point when I got this request, I was like, damn it, I've used so many, I've given you so many visual novel requests previously, and of course I'm trying to not have double suggestions. So I found some brand new bangers. Calling myself out, kicked up at you. So first up we have If Found, which is a visual novel about coming out and identity. It's really cute. Wonderful aesthetic, and from memory it's free. Have this on my list. It looks very strong. Very, very cute. Next up we have A New Life, which is a romance visual novel about a sapphic couple. I thought the title was coming out for a sec, I can't. Happens. So A New Life is about like a newlywed lesbian couple, and it looks so gorgeous, so pretty, and with an interesting story as well. People, wow. Giving you just like so much queerness. I feel like there's gonna be one that's upcoming that you might be obsessed with, okay? Maybe not, but I have a feeling. Ah yes, my favorite game, Romance. Just the game is called Romance, that's funny. My third one is Lost Connections, which I also have in my library. This is about love and loss. This is about digital communication and ghosting and the realm of communication in the context of romance. Gorgeous animation. Lil, yo! Thank you for the follow! We did your request earlier, King. If you want, I can skip back. I watched my recommendations. Thank you! Oh, you already watched! I hope you enjoyed! I hope they hit what you were looking for. Thank you so much for requesting something. Oh my gosh, that's a cool... Ooh, this is for TwitchCon San Diego. Interesting. Interesting. Cool badge. And then the final one, okay, James, I need to know. Because I feel like this is, like, you're gonna get into this, but maybe you're not. Because these three are all romancy. Interview with the Vampire has been on my watch list forever. On mine too. I just feel like recently the second season came out and I've seen like a billion people talk about it again, so you know what? I was just yapping earlier about how I finally watched Dead Boy Detectives Agency and how it is incredible and I loved it. So I should maybe, if something's been on my mind for a long time, I should maybe have that push to actually watch it more because I might find some of my new favorite shows. So yeah, all these three for James here are very similar tone. They're brighter aesthetics, they're cuter. Obviously also some serious topics, but overall. James, are you ready? Vampire Therapist is about being a vampire therapist, and it's old hot men. It's a fantasy visual novel. And everyone's a hot old man. Like, I swear, this just came out, okay, James? This just came out literally a few days ago. And I was like, when I saw this, my ass was like, I was like, this is the James game. Surely he will be really interested in this. I've reached the point of the presentation, by the way, where I don't have notes, unfortunately, anymore, because I was like, I rather want to start the stream than obsess over every detail. But I wanted to try and get the description for you really quickly. I'm starting up Steam. Because this one, the James game TM, yeah. I mean, I'm also very interested in this game, I'm not gonna lie. A hot man in a suit, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. What can I say? What can I say? He can therapize me any day. Let me... yeah, it's guide vampires through centuries of emotional baggage, decades of delusions, and the odd bout of self-loathing with real cognitive behavioral therapy concepts and become a vampire therapist. I feel like this is fucking hilarious, but also really interesting. And everyone's a hot old man, so... And there's goth people, okay? There's goths, there's gays, there's some, you know... I mean, okay, I feel like for anyone who doesn't like hot older men, if I may very briefly, let me see. Goth gays. I mean, I'm gonna get you the #1 way to convince just everyone to have this game on their wish list. I feel like everyone who's in this Twitch chat, you guys are gonna get convinced by this immediately. Look, ta-da! Need I say more? Need I say more? Buck. Yep. This is what I was saying. Like, guys, need I say more? Okay, I'm gonna remove it because otherwise the barking. Guys, behave yourselves and be a vampire. I need her in my life. I knew you would really react to that. So yeah, if you're in any way into, that's not what I meant to click. If you're into older men, if you're into goth women, like, I mean, if you're a man enjoyer, I mean, do I really need to say more than this guy? Where's the flooshed emote? We have yellow flooshed. We have our own emote of it. It's like yellow flushed, actually. There. If you are into vampires. If you're also into vampires, like, just generally. Like, there we have him. Have to be paid to be gay. I know, terrible. Gay tax. I mean, look at him. Guys. Let's just be so for real, people, wow. So yeah, I feel like in Vampire Therapist, we're all just gonna be fed, okay? We're gonna be fed, and it's gonna be a whole ass meal. Alright. Moving on. Let's get back to Crimson, holy shit. I feel like we're gonna have some people passing out from intense hot women. So let's move on to the next request, which is also by James. Holy shit, I've given you the comfy emote. And this one is action adventure RPG simulation strategy casual everything, playing as an animal. Go wild, I guess. There's so many fun themes, I want all. So clearly this one is kind of an interesting challenge because I wanted to go with Jesus Christ, with games that are not like maybe the #1 thing you'd think about. Was that pun intended? Haha. You knows. Yeah, mayhap. So our first suggestion is Snacko, which is a farming game, but everyone is cats. That one copy, but it didn't come in. Let's see, play as a Waddle Dee. Real AF. So Snacko looks super cute. It's really adorable little aesthetics, and it has like a Stardew Valley-esque gameplay vibe, but everyone's cats, and it's adjusted to the fact that the whole world is cats. I might be yapping shit. Let me check. Yeah, it's I love this. Decorate, collect, produce, and befriend in this cat-evading life sim. It's super cute. It's like a 2.5D visual style. It's absolutely adorable. Love it. Yapping shit or shitting yap. You can never know. Next up, we have the ultimate playing as an animal game, Lost Amber. Lost Amber, I mean, not Amber with an A, but E. I playtested this at Gamescom a few years ago, and it was very, very fun. It's a game about being basically an animal spirit who is able to become any kind of animal that you encounter. So you can like shapeshift. It's fucking hype. It's an exploration story game. You run around. The graphics are very lovely. And you can like every time you encounter another animal, you can like decide to shapeshift into that animal and get the abilities that it has, and it's really fucking fun. Haven't played the full game obviously, but from memory it's really fun. It's like every kind of wild animal. You can be like a wolf, you can become a bird, like a seagull or an eagle, or you become a fox. It's like really, really wide spectrum. Very cool game. And then thirdly, I feel like an OG that I also played. It's the first demo I ever played on the channel, I think. This is a farming sim slash story game called Aka, where you play as a red panda. It's really calm, peaceful vibes. You can follow the story or you can just chill. It's really cute. I have Aka on Switch, yes. I wasn't sure if you own it on Switch or not, but I feel like it's a good rec. I like this picture with my own pigeon. Tunic is really fun. Yeah, Tunic was one of the ones I had in mind to potentially suggest also. I just tried to, for some of these games, to focus on like maybe 3 to 4 max. And if I had any that I'd played myself, I wanted to try and add them in. Right, guys, are you ready for someone who isn't James again? Can we get some hype? Who? Any guesses? Any guesses? It's like a puzzle soak, like people, wow. Yeah, I've seen Tunic. One of my friends recently got it. It looks very, very good. James Break, people googles. Please say that was my last one. I'm not sure. But our next one is Wisp! Is Wisp in the chat? He was here earlier, but I don't know if he still is. Oh, he is. He's in the list. Dig Dog Wisp. He's at least on the Chatterino chat list still. But he did say he's been awake for a long time, so... I gave Wisp the Minecraft Wisp design, because I was like, this is perfect. And he did request a really interesting request that was actually quite hard to fulfill. He wanted an isometric game, action-adventure, simulation RPG, and said, something similar to Project Zomboid. I would prefer if I could play the game with my partners online. I really tried my best to find both games that were similar to what he said, but also that were multiplayer online access. And it was very fun. It was like, sometimes I go through people's Steam profiles, and I thought, like, I befriended someone recently and looked, and they just had so many co-op games, like 2-player co-op, and I was like, oh, this is sweet. They must have someone in their life that they keep playing those games with. Very sweet. Is Wisp not here? Wait. Mod check. I'm going to drop a mod check again. Again, he might be tired and have just fallen asleep while watching the stream. Wispy cat tuck. Might be cat tuck. Alright. So this was quite challenging because trying to find games that are isometric and also multiplayer proved to be more rare than I expected. So my first one was based off of the Project Zomboid mention. This is Humanity. This is another apocalypse prep multiplayer game. It seems very similar from a vibe perspective to Project Zomboid, so I added it in here. It's all about survival. It's all about being the goat in the apocalypse with your friends or partners or other people. Then next up, I went in with a very different vibe. This is called Cottageville. It's a life sim for doing little tasks and mini games and kind of hanging out with people online. It looks super adorable. This is more for the social aspect, I feel like, rather than like intense gaming, but I feel like maybe this might be up Wisp's alley. And then thirdly, we have a game I've actually played, Unrailed, the trains game, where you and people either try to make a big railway together or against each other or in a team. You never know. It's cute. It's very lovely, like pixel aesthetic. It's voxel specifically. It's a banger. We've played it on the channel before. It's a really, really nice multiplayer game. Both if you're competitive, you can play against each other, or if you just want to do a little bit of puzzle problem solving together, you can do co-op. Absolutely lovely. There's also Unreal 2 coming out soon, so that in mind. So we've got Survival, Life Sim, and Trains! There we go. And then we've got our first non-James double, because Wisp also requested some TV shows. Wisp wanted finished animation TV shows that have 20 to 40 minute episodes, 1 through 3 seasons, with a mystery / thriller topic. We need to play Trains game in the subathon. We will. We played it during one of the previous subathons. It was super fun. If it's a multiplayer game, I will have it in the rotation. And if people are interested to play it, we will play it during the subathon. If you don't know, we're doing a subathon. You know, should mess around with Great Trains, people giggles. If you're wondering, we're having a subathon coming Friday. Very hype. 5 p.m. My time, 4 p.m. BST start time. Be there, be square. I'll be pumping out a bit of promo over the start of the week. Okay, spread the word. Keep your some money tucked to the side. Becomes rectangle till the end. And if you at all can support the subathon when it actually happens, please do. I really want to get put some money in your socks. Yeah, I really want to get some banger content out. We've got 4 hours to start with, but of course I want to go as long as possible. This does not have a cap. Reminder, it does not have any caps. And also, aside from adding time through the the time additions that you see on the flyer. We also have a sub goal, a sub point addition system where every 10 sub points, an extra hour is added immediately in one go, which is really, really cool to get us to most of the time have a comfy amount of time on the clock so we can start new projects. It's the kind of to overcome the let's tether on 5 minutes on the clock for 16 hours issue, which for me that just kind of stresses me out and I don't want to start anything new. So we have that as a way to collectively work together on getting a bunch of time in one go. Aside from, of course, the regular additions through the subs. Tier 1 is also the same as Primes, so Primes add 10 minutes. Spread the word. Alright. Let's get TMing me. Do you want? Never mind. People suit. Yeah, people suit. You see it. This is what I gave Wisp here. Not sure why, just Wisp is a gentleman, so just gives the vibes. So this is a challenging request, especially the whole 20 to 40 minute episodes, because there are shows that have less, and of course only having 3 seasons and being finished. So my first recommendation is an anime called Erased. I've not seen the anime, but I have read the manga for it, which in German has such a cooler title, okay? Erased, like, oh, blah, who gives a shit? In German, the like, obviously the title is in German, but me translating the title back to English is The Town in Which I Don't Exist, which is such a banger title. Who gives a shit about it? Oh, Erased, the town in which I don't exist. Banger title. And the basic plot is, it's about this kid who has the ability to time travel, but he cannot control it. And he ends up, yeah, it's kind of long, no. It's fun. It's a banger title. The German itself is Die Stadt, in der es mich nicht gibt, which is not that long. It's not that long, sorry. It's the Denglish. It's if I switch too radically, I always forget that you guys can't speak German too. Rip. But it's not that long, it's like half a sentence. Anyway, in Erased, he is a guy and he gets transported. Yellow City, foolish fan, good to see you. He gets randomly time traveled back to a time where there is the murder of his mother when he was a child. So he's actually an adult, but he travels back to the time when he's a kid and tries to solve the murder of his mother. The manga was really, really good. I've heard the TV show is also good, so it's here. I do want to watch the anime as well. And I also finished the manga because I never finished it. I have like the first 3 or 4 parts in my collection, but never continued reading it because manga to be expensive. Alright, next up we have DuckTales 2017, which I relatively recently finally finished because I was saving up the finale for a long time. This is everything that was great about the original DuckTales, but with more modern animation storytelling. Hehe, funny number. True. Where there's more lore, the characters are more differentiated. It's very much a modern DuckTales. There's also more diversity in the TV show. There's a lot more character building and compared to the old show. Really, really interesting, really cool, funny, and it has a lot of mysteries. Like the main central mystery at the start of the show is what happened to Della Duck, who is the Duck triplets' mum, Donald Duck's sister. That's like the mystery element here. And there's a lot of other mysteries, of course, because they always go on adventures to solve cases, like mysterious artifacts, what happened to them, and where to find them and shit. So really a fun show. It doesn't matter if you've ever watched the original DuckTales or not, if you're deeply familiar with the DuckTales universe, you don't need to be. It's very beginner friendly. Lovely voice acting. We've got David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck. We've got some absolutely banger voice acting overall. Super fun. Despair! block the the bot. But Argentinium, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, guys. Sorry, you just came in when a bot tried to. To be fair, Pasta La Vista Baby is a banger username, but thank you so much for the raid. Hi, can't stay, but have a good stream. No worries, raid and run. Look after yourself. Thank you so much for the raid and welcome in, raiders. We are doing a stream where I have gotten requests from my audience for media. Books, TVs, shows, movies, video games. And they've written little requests you can see on the side here. And I have found things to match what they were looking for. Currently we're doing my moderator of the Wisp's request for a mystery/thriller animated TV show. Join on in, grab a drink, and relax from the Elden Ringing. Yeah, I was just yapping about DuckTales 2017. Good series. Sipping. My third recommendation is an anime. Don't really know too much about it, called Akuma-kun, or Kun, not sure how to say. Let me see if I can get a description for this really quickly. This is part, prompts the latter. Akuma-kun, probably. Because this show I don't really know anything about. So I want to get like a little description. It looked very interesting. It's about a boy who was raised by a demon who, with a half-human called Mephisto III, works as a paranormal investigator to solve various murder and mysteries. Sounds really interesting. Love a good detective show. I was just yapping about Deadwood Detective Agency. So I feel like I really want to watch this show. It looks very epically animated. There's like people with big ass wings, drama. Interesting. It's on Netflix, so very accessible as well. Really interesting with that whole. I don't know why this genre has popped up, but I'm loving it. They're paranormal entities, but they're detectives. I just love this blend. It's such a good vibe. Doesn't always work. Again, I'm calling back to Duck Gently. I will stay a hater, but a lot of times it does work. And then my fourth and final suggestion is called The Hollow. This is another Netflix production. Netflix is really coming out with the mystery animated TV shows, which I'm also going to look up. Stop adding ads to me because I don't remember the plot for this. But it sounded interesting when I was researching it. There we go, this is pretty recent as well. It's about 3 teens who join forces to find a way after waking up in a strange realm filled with magic portals, perplexing puzzles, and vicious beasts. So it's kind of like a dimension mystery type show. Looks interesting. I've not heard anyone mention this show ever, so I also think I mistyped that. It's 12 episodes, not 2. But ignore that. So this was kind of a challenge to do, but I feel like we have some more mainstream options and maybe some gems that people have not heard of. But maybe it's just me who hasn't heard of them, to be honest. Alright, next up we have James again! Yes, James, you are not relieved from your hot seat. Love how you like, was that the last time? No. By the way, I absolutely love it. Like, you really are carrying the stream, and I had so much fun looking up all your different requests. So, don't feel like you requested too much. Yeah, so this was, I think James is the only person who requested any non-fiction. So this is non-fiction, 100 plus pages, no preference for age. I think James put in like 14 requests or something. And the topic was gender/feminism. So I tried to give you like 50-50 for gender and feminism respectively. And some of these I have read, some of these I have had on my to-read list. And we're starting with one I have read, and I have heavily advocated should be just read by everyone because it's amazing, called Before We Were Trans, A History of Gender. It's a phenomenal, revolutionary book in my opinion about the people who we may potentially, from a modern point of view, count under, or like we count them under the trans umbrella. They lived in times where that terminology was not around, but it's all about breaking that concept of trans people or trans identity, gender nonconformity being something brand new when it's really always been there. It's a chef's kiss read. It's very accessible, even though it has like a slight academic touch, of course. But it honestly is just a perspective shifting read. Just chef's kiss. Should get all the love ever. Next up we have one that I actually haven't read but have on my to-read list called Everyday Sexism. This is all about examining how sexism impacts women in society and kind of looking at it from a micro level perspective. But that everyday society, about that everyday sexism, about that casual, often understated or sort of downplayed experience. I have heard like only good things about Laura Bates, really. She's written multiple books about the topic of feminism, about sexism, about discrimination, the whole thing. And this one is one of her first works about the topic. Really, really interesting, and I've had it on my to-read list for a while. Noted. Then another one that I've heard quite a lot about is called The Trouble with White Women, A Contingency of Feminism, which very much covers the whole topic of public perception of feminism being very white, being dominated by white activists and white voices, and what that kind of does to the narratives, the language, and the aims of feminist movements. Important stuff. Really interesting, kind of putting a lot of things on its head, and I think it's super important. Have it on my read list, and have had it on there for a while. There we go. Broken talk. The final one here I have also read, another one that I swear every motherfucker should read, called Trans Like Me, A Journey for All of Us. This is an incredible collection of essays about trans issues with kind of a UK perspective, pretty contemporary. It talks about issues like Caitlyn Jenner and her role in society and TERF movements. It talks about a lot of these really important issues in a funny, punchy, pop culture involving way. It's engaging, it's powerful. There's some of the most poignant essays I've ever read about this topic, and I really wish it was more translated into like German so I could just throw it at every one of my family members who drops like random uninformed opinions, and I'm like, guys, just read this. Massive recommendations. If you have Before We Were Trans and Trans Like Me, you have the history, you have the contemporary, you have the more academic, you have the more sort of, what's the word here, like essay, approachable blogs, column style, non-fiction writing. Incredible. Alright, next up then, we have another non-fiction request from James, the GOAT. This time coming in with the same 100 plus pages, no preference for demographic, and he wants education/social issues with silly. Emote added, of course, because he is silly. But super interesting, and I added some. I kind of took this in a way that was about the education system. Mostly. First non-fiction, people clap. Yeah, James just adding in the non-fictions. Very lovely. So my first suggestion here is The Shame of the Nation, which is about instituting apartheid systems in education in America. I've heard a lot about this author and about him doing investigative journalism, about disparities in the US education system, and this one focuses on racial disparities and how even after like the legalized racism and segregation was quote-unquote ended, it still continued, and it still had and still has a massive impact on what education someone is receiving in the US. Super interesting. I've heard a lot of good things about this. It's on my to-read list. Next up, we have a book that I have read, and I've read it for uni, and I thought it was a banger, very short read, called Between the World and Me. It's a conversation between this guy and his son, and it's about being black in America, and all these negotiations about how you are in the world if you are specifically black in this case. It's punchy, it's pungent, it's angry, but it's also kind of hopeful. It's about trying to basically break yourself into the world by punching through that wall. Not reducing yourself and your identity to fit out with everyone else, but make the world fit you. And I thought it was very powerful, it was very well written, but it's also a very short read. It's a bit more than 100 pages if I remember correctly, and I feel like it's a great starter read if you're kind of engaging with the topic of black identity in the US, and also has that point towards the disparities in the education system. And he talks, for example, about what it's like going to a university, like a prestige elite university in the UK, and being kind of one of the few black faces, and how people will just say the most batshit things because they don't expect someone to actually be there who's part of that group in these elite spaces. So really interesting conversations. Would highly recommend. Next up, another book that I have on my to-read list but haven't read, called Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World. This is about skills. This is about managing the modern workplace / education space / just society. And this book makes the case of prioritizing having a broad range of skills rather than only being good at one thing. I've heard good things, that it's written in a approachable way, and that it has some new things to add in the conversation, so not sure if it is actually a good book because I've not read it. This counts for everything that I've not read personally, take it with a grain of salt, but I've heard good things. And then finally we have Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria? As you can see, I pulled very much from books that I've either read myself or have on my own personal read list, and the topic of racial disparity in the education system, especially the US, I think is super interesting. This is another book kind of angling at it from a more social point of view rather than a legal or sort of law-based background or any kind of official guidelines, but more how does that affect the social dynamics in an educational context. Heard good things again. Alright. And then next up, I'm not sure what, let me check. This is not our final request. James just went crazy on the non-fiction request. What about books are there for other countries? Yeah, I feel like there's been a big focus in the publishing industry, obviously, on the US. Makes sense. I know that there are some books about the education disparities in the UK, but typically they're folded into bigger books about just black identity in the UK. So Black and British is a book I would recommend. I have watched the documentary of that book, but not read the book, which is all about kind of how black people have a way longer history, including free black people have had a way longer history in the UK than a lot of people would like to believe. And super interesting. It's talking a lot about how people were coming over, scholars, educated people were coming over from Africa to the UK to do business, to get education, to be part of society, and they were actors, independent actors at the time. So really, really interesting. That one is one I can think of. But yeah, it is I think I would have to probably also look myself a bit deeper into if there's comparable literature for other countries and their own. I know Germany, we have some books that are about, again, black and brown people in Germany and how they're treated and stuff. But those tend to not be translated into English, which doesn't really help most of you. But yeah, this next one was non-fiction, 100 pages, no preference, 100 plus, about disability. And I added city. That's not even city, I think that's even the tinier one, right? Let me look. No, it is city. It's city with, like this. Boom. Are you ready? So for this one, we have some that I have read, but mostly I've not read these. Again, we'll come in with my to-read list. The first one I have actually read, I read this for a term paper. This is Sexy Like Us, Disability, Humor, and Sexuality. This is a queer disabled book. It's kind of academic, but not that much. I thought it was very illuminating. It's all about how people use humor in relation to their sexuality and their disability, and about these different spheres and how disability would be treated in a LGBT context, and also how LGBT identity is treated in a disability context. Super interesting. You don't need to read the whole book back to back, but there are some very interesting sections in there that you could kind of jump in between of. Very interesting. Next up we have kind of a classic in terms of popular, recently published texts about disability that aren't super academic. This is Disability Visibility, first-person stories from the 21st century. This is an essay collection, kind of. Every chapter is written by a different person, so they're really going in for that variety of narratives. Interesting, have it on the to-read list. Then next up we have Sitting Pretty, The View from My Ordinary Resistant Disabled Body. This is a memoir / personal narrative of just this one lady. Has had very raving reviews as well, and I have it on the to-read list also. And then finally we have kind of a different perspective away from personal narratives and rather looking at bigger topics. This is Against Technoableism, rethinking who needs improvement. It's very interesting. It's about the internet, it's about technological adjustments, and it's about who are we adjusting things for, what does it mean, and how does disability, accessibility technology, assistive technology in general, how is that impacted by basically people who are not disabled being involved in the process of these technological advancements, quote-unquote advancements. Super interesting, I thought. A big vibe. And with that, we have reached the end. Can we get some claps? Thank you so much for everyone who's been listening in. I hope you guys that got recommendations found stuff that was interesting to you, that you want to read, watch, or play. And everyone else, I hope there was also interesting stuff for you. I really love doing these types of streams. I do want to do this again at some point, but with a big gap. So basically everyone who got recommendations from now has time to actually do them. And these things do take a long time to set up. But they're also incredibly fun. It's like solving little puzzles for you guys where you give me an outline of what you're looking for, and I just go to town and find some really cool things for both you and me, honestly. I found so many things myself while researching that I really want to read, watch, or vibe. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the stream. As I mentioned, before the subathon on... That's not what I wanted to look for this. before the subathon on Friday. There we go, that's the subathon promo. It was really fun. I'm glad you thought so. Before the subathon promo is here. My brain just died a little bit, sorry. Before I will leave you and the subathon happening on Friday, we have 2 streams happening. We have Demo Day on Monday, and we have Tiny Life and a random genetics challenge in Sims 4 on Tuesday, and then I will see you on Friday for the subathon. Again, spread the hype, spread the word. I had so much fun with the stream today, and I'm super excited for streams next week. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm gonna be out and about with everyone, just having a good time. There we go. Now I can finally exit here. Happy early birthday, thank you, I appreciate it. And I will see where to send you, chat. Any ones that I haven't rated in a while. I'm rating you over to Austin. Yeah, absolutely. Just started his stream playing Roblox Dress to Impress. So any Dress to Impress enjoyers, join it over there, having a lovely little time. I'm excited for my birthday tomorrow. I'm gonna like relax after the stream, so hopefully I'm fine. People giggles. So have a lovely time over there, and I will see you on Monday for Demo Day. Kind of rare to do a Demo Day on Monday, but raccoon leave. Thank you so much for everyone who submitted a request, and especially James, who absolutely carried. And I will see you on